from all over the country. We have Matt Weinberg, we have Rudi Thun, and we have my favorite smiling man, Mike Cavanaugh. Welcome, gentlemen. I know that you three have probably been on several webinars together since this whole thing has started. You're serving our industry in a really unique way. So I just want to start out by saying you've been preaching this gospel for a long time and saying, look, digital retailing is possible. We can do a good job at it. The technology is available to move. Yes, we will make the technology better, right, as we learn and as we grow, but it can be done. You've been saying that for a number of years now, and the technology is getting better. Companies like Cavanaugh have actually pushed it forward, and my perspective is that we should thank Cavanaugh for helping us get more retail friendly. So I want to just take a few minutes here to talk about the front lines. What is going on with digital retailing in the sense of the dealers that have it? What are you seeing them do specifically? Like, how are they deploying in a different way maybe than pre-COVID? So it's not like an argument digital retailing versus not digital retailing, but we're saying, like, how are you seeing people specifically leverage it during this situation? Let's go. Let's see. Mike, you're already on the screen, so why don't we start with you?
Great. Now, I think, from my perspective, people are starting to actually focus on it where it was an afterthought before. I think there was kind of a side project, and let's see what we can do with this. Let's put it on the website. Let's see where it goes. And now it's more of a focus. There's a lot of attention on it. How do we implement this as part of our process, and how do we really use it every day? So I think, to simply answer the question, that's it. It's not an afterthought anymore. It's really at the forefront because it's a necessity now. This is what we've kind of said. There'd have to be an event, and there'd have to be some pain before this really became the mainstream. And this is, as painful as it gets for many people right now.
Very good. Matt, what's your perspective? What do you see people executing right now with the digital retailing?
If I could sum it up in one word, it would be transactional. In the past, it was a super lead, right? It was, how do we get as much information, make the customer feel like they bought online? What we're seeing our dealers start to shift that focus is to transactional. So instant approvals, real live on the website showing an actual approval from a bank for a finance loan, for a lease, and then e-signing, right? How do we start to shift some of the paperwork online? There's pros and cons to that. As dealers, we need to be aware of that. We need to always have an F&I menu presentation, for example. Otherwise, we're going to suffer in terms of F&I profit. But how do we make this more transactional? Because as a consumer, I'm at home, I'm on edge, coronavirus, everything's happening. And so when we think about trust being the most important word in automotive retail, their radar is up, right? So this has to move more towards transactional. That helps actually alleviate some of the concern and build that trust. So transactional is what we're seeing, is this move towards instant approvals and e-signing.
Very good. Thank you for that. Last and certainly not least, Rudi, what are you seeing from your end? You have, obviously some perspective from across the country. How would you address that?
Yeah, I think those are all good points. One of the things that we've often talked about and focused on when we're working with dealerships is who's going to be the digital retail champion that's really going to see this process through. And in some dealerships, that was challenging. Others, it worked well. But now what we're seeing is that everyone is a digital retail champion, and that's the GSM, the finance director, the dealer themselves. And so now everyone's sort of focused on the same goal, and that is to get transactional. For Matt's description there, that's spot on. It's just nice to kind of cut through all the sort of traditional challenges and sacred cows in the dealership. So everyone's incredibly laser focused right now, and everyone's the champion. And so now things are moving at warp speed to get to where we need to go. So from that perspective, it's been nice to see everyone, and it's from the top too at the OEMs. The speed at which they're moving to cut through bureaucracy is similar to what the dealers are doing. And so it's a unified approach now, which is great to see.
How do you, we'll go down the same order again. Do you see dealers moving to execute like to that? When I looked at our poll, so about half of the people said that they've been using digital retailing for years. about 25% said they're kind of have started over the last 12 months, and the other 25% are seriously considering getting the ball movement. No one said I'm not considering it. Also, I think that either I don't think we have any liars. I think that everyone now is serious about digital retailing. So I want to speak to the group, the third group that I mentioned, the group that said, okay, I'm really paying attention. Can you, from each of your perspectives, let us know what dealers can do even when they might be closed, like how quickly they can actually get something off the ground? And I know it might vary a little bit via platform. So we'll just start with Matt again, and we'll just go Matt, Mike, Rudi, and just say, how fast do you think a dealer can legitimately get up and running and have a digital retailing offering? Because I just said it in the last session, like the second the valve turns back on, there's going to be much more favorable a view of buying a car online. So Matt, what do you think? How fast can a dealer actually get up and running?
So we've really focused on streamlining launching dealers right now because of the current crisis that we're in as an industry. So I've actually seen last week, we got a store live in 48 hours. Now that's about as fast as we're going to see. Typically it's a week or two. And like you said, there's a lot of variables that certainly impact. But here at Moto, what we've done is we've actually adjusted to streamlining our launch process so that we can get dealers as live as quickly as possible, and then circle back maybe on some customizations that they want, things like that, adding F&I products and other things. So we're really hyper-focused right now on how can we get dealers live as fast as possible so that they can start selling cars online, especially in areas where, right, they're not considered essential business and it's the only way that they can sell a car. So that's been a big focus here.
Very good. Mike, what's it look like from your perspective?
Yeah, I would echo the same thoughts that Matt had as well. It's about 48 hours, quick turnaround, for kind of an MVP, right? To get it up and running and have everybody, able to actually do business. I think the training and the process piece, we've gotten better and better at that over time as well. And that's the key to this, I think, is it's not just getting the tool on the website and allowing somebody to be able to see something. It's actually having people use it and make it a collaborative process, because it's digital retailing isn't just about let a customer do everything they want by themselves. I think there has to be an aspect of collaboration there to it as well. So it's not only just like how soon can we get it on and live, but how soon can we have this like a process in the store? And I think that 48 hours is what everybody's shooting for. And we probably had 10 times the amount of activations that we had ever over the last 10 days. And we were able to stick within that 48-hour window and sometimes a little bit longer. So kudos to all the hardworking people at the company.
Very good. Rudi.
Yeah, similar thing, right? Trying to get dealers live in days and changing processes, right? All the things that you worry about so much in the past, right? Now you have to make sure that you don't let perfect get in the way of good enough, right? And so I think it's about iteration, right? Getting live relatively quickly, and then fast following with getting it better and better over time. And so we're very focused on getting dealers live much faster now, but then supporting them with our success team, doing whether you call it office hours or webinars on a regular basis as people get up and running and start using the tool set that they can start learning the best practices over time. And so get live in a matter of days, really, especially for some of these stores. Matt mentioned that they might be semi-closed right now. You definitely want to have staff that are working on your processes going forward and thinking about anticipating what's going to come from your governor, when you're going to be allowed to sell, and make sure you have those processes in place. You can get live quickly, but you should be really fast following with more and more process rollout as you get up to speed.
Very, very good. I'm going to get to some questions here from the audience in a second. I want to get all three of your quick opinion on this. Do you feel like the biggest hurdle in most of these implementations, when you flip the switch and you put a dealership on a platform where now they can digitally retail, do you feel like the biggest hurdle is typically training the people to adopt a new process? We'll just go quick answers, yes, no. Matt?
I think it can be. I think desk managers and F&I managers are the biggest roadblocks. But I think if you choose a small team at the dealership, then you can overcome a lot of that. If you try and train the whole store, then it's going to be much more challenging, in my opinion.
Very good. Mike, what do you think?
I would say no, the training aspect isn't. It's actually the setup and the integration piece. So working with other vendors and having, one point person at the dealership that can quickly act on and kind of being the mediator between different vendors to get things set up.
Yep.
If you've got somebody who's urgent, it's going to happen fast. If you don't, it's going to be really slow and painful for any vendor.
That's
Gotcha.
right.
Rudy, what do you think?
Yeah, with the right champion, you can cut through a lot of that pretty quickly. But the reality is, for most dealerships, the process change is harder than adoption of the technology. But it really is important to have someone who can cut through all those different functional groups in the dealership and make it all sing.
Well, I want to talk about that last point again, back to the people. The reason I set that question up is because I think it's very easy to miss that. And the organization, the dealership that you had, is now the most flexible it has ever been, and likely more flexible than it ever will be in the future, because this is such a once in a lifetime event. And people now are willing to accept the new more than they would have been able to accept it when you already had that momentum. So resetting the meter, like this time in politics, they say, well, you never waste a good crisis, right? And that's usually to forward a political agenda. But the principle of that is, like, we have an opportunity now where people are accepting of a new way. So if this is something that you wanted to do, and that's not just digital retailing, that's any change in your organization, whether it's onboarding or whether it's operational, whatever. I think we have a really unique opportunity here to reset the meter and set the bar going forward. And I know all three of you have programs that really help identify the progress or the process. And so dealers, don't miss it right now, because once you get rolling, it's going to be 10 times harder to get back and redo a process. Now is the time to start to think and maybe make some of those changes. I'm going to some questions for the audience. Here we go. The first question says, the one that's been voted up the most, it says, what is the best message to connect with customers during this crisis? Selling just doesn't seem right. So it's a little more of a marketing question, but you guys are kind of on the forefront of the retailing experience. So Matt, what do you think? What is the best message to connect with customers during the time?
Yeah, I think that as you're reaching out to customers, first of all, I wouldn't be doing any hard selling tactics, right? You should be reaching out to consumers that have reached out to you already. And so that should alleviate that, hey, am I selling? Mm-hmm. And then I think that you need to, again, be mindful that their radar is up, that their emotions are up. And so you need to be understanding of that. And I would focus on what I call the 4 T's, which build trust, and that's the first T. And we're transforming the car buying process. They're transforming, and we're doing it with transparency. And I forgot my 4th T, time. We're saving you time, right? So I think if you just focus on those things, that it will come across to the customer that you're really trying to help. And that's really what this is about. You shouldn't be selling. You should be educating them on, hey, we're in a new world. Here's how you buy a car in this new current crisis environment that we're in.
Cool. Mike, what do you think? What should dealers be doing? What should they be talking about?
All right. So Matt has the 4 T's and I have the 4 C's, right? So I say it's calm, certainty, convenience, and connection, right? And that's what people are looking for right now. So to reassure people with your message that, your facility has been sanitized and clean. If they do come in for service or they come in to buy a car, that's huge, that the vehicles have been sanitized and clean. That's first and foremost right now. Everybody I know, it's health and safety of their families. That's what they're most worried about right now. I think that's big. Certainty. I know a lot of dealers, Hyundai Assurance has that program out. A lot of dealers are starting to look into a job loss protection or a vehicle return plan. You have to give your customers some kind of certainty that when it's time to buy, that they're going to have a little bit of peace of mind that it'll be okay. With convenience, it's, the use of these tools like we're talking about today. That's a piece of this, that you can do home delivery, pickup, whether it comes to service or sales. And the last piece is connection. We can hop on a Zoom call, a FaceTime, whatever it is from the convenience of your home and do this, that we collaborate together. And that's what the message should be, that when you're ready, we're here to help you in these ways.
Very good. Rudy, what should customers be, what should dealers be talking about?
Framework. Those guys already took all the good stuff, but it's about empathy.
4 E's maybe? Come on, we can do it. 4 E's maybe? We got T's, C's, and we got empathy, encouragement. No, so go ahead.
Empathy, you're a pillar in the community and you're there to help people, and reinforce that that you can do it safely, and just be there for your community. There's no hard sell. That doesn't make sense now. You really have to rethink all your marketing at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And as a brand marketer myself, there is no time like right now to connect with people on the things that are on the human level: health and safety, the responsibility to the community, families. The second, I'll tell you what, every time I log into my news app here in Syracuse and I see like a price payment for a car, I just I just watch somebody like lighting dollar bills on fire. Actually, worse than that, they're actually pouring gasoline, right? And then they're lighting something on fire. So I appreciate that. We have a few minutes left here. So let's see if we can get a couple questions. And if you're not on Slido, if you go to slido.com, you can ask questions or just upvote questions that are on there so that, you can just push one to the top. Here's the one that's at the top right now. When will digital retailer, I don't think we can answer that question. Ask it in 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to skip to one next one. How will the BDC role change in the upcoming months and the years? 30 seconds, Matt Weinberg.
Yeah, I think it's going to potentially change dramatically because as you move to transactional things that are taking place on the website, BDC suddenly can almost sell a car and then just lead right into finance. So it should be really interesting to see, but I've already had some conversations with dealer groups with centralized BDC where they're realizing, my BDC can sell a car now. They don't just have to sell an appointment. They can sell the vehicle. Customer comes in, they go straight into the F&I office. And by the way, this means more F&I profit because if you're in the F&I office in 5 minutes, you're way more open to protecting that investment versus I've been at your store 2, 3, 4 hours. So I do think that we're going to see with this transactional movement, we're going to see a big change potentially in BDC and CDCs.
Mike, what do you think?
All right. So I've said this for years. When I was the COO of a dealer group, I used to say the dealership one day will become the test drive and delivery center. The BDC is going to be your first responders. They're going to do everything, but the dealership will become the test drive and delivery center. And that may not be an immediate future, but that's likely where we're headed.
Yep.
Rudy.
Yep. Appointment setting to transactional. They're going to be much like a Cavanaugh service service rep on the phone, talking to the customer, working through the deal. It's going transactional really fast, and there's a lot of dealers already doing that.
Very
and Paul,
good.
I think that's a great thing because our BDC and CDC agents tend to be really, really good, high quality employees.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that this is going to actually benefit not only the dealer, but the customer as well.
I think this will always also, like going down this line, the fact that people can do BDC job remotely, I think that's something that now we will be able to really accept. And that is going to absolutely spread the availability of talent, right? If you don't have to be here to execute well and on brand and be personal, I think that's also going to change the landscape of the BDC. Like, is it in the building? Is it somewhere else? Or something like that. So a lot of things interacting right now. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me and contributing to the conversation. I hope you'll connect with these three on LinkedIn and check out the 3 different product offerings. All 3 are very committed to the dealers, and they're all, as you can see, they're very good people ready to serve and very dialed into what the dealership needs are. Thank you for joining me. Be well, and I will see you in person sometime soon.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. You and your family.
See you later. Thank you.
Thank you.